Hello everybody and welcome back to another Roblox Studio, the basics. We are covering a chassis. If you were with us last time, we found this truck in the toolbox and we configured it a little bit, and then we found a trailer and we added the trailer, albeit it's a little tall. All right, so in today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to create a UI where we press a button and it's going to do everything that this button here does, and maybe this button here. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing we want to do, starter GUI, we want to right click, insert object, and we want to insert a screen GUI, and then we want to right click on that, insert object, a frame. And that's going to bring up this wonderful frame here. Basic. This video, I'm not going to go over designing the, let's see, insert object. We'll put in a UI corner and see what that does. It makes it nice and round. I'm not going to go over designing these today. Maybe in another video. Definitely. So what we want to do to this is we want to add a text button. So insert object, and we want to add a text button. And let's change the color of the text button just so we can see it. Let's change it to green. Okay, we're going to rename this button to trailer off. And that will be right here. It says text. So what I'm doing is I'm clicking on the button, and over here under properties, I'm scrolling down to the bottom where it says text, under text. And that is the text that's on. I always get that confused with, is that the visual text or is that the name? Okay. Then what we're going to do is we'll duplicate that just to make it easy. And we're going to rename this one trailer on. Just like that, and then we'll change the text to trailer on, and let's make this one red. Why? I don't know, kind of reversing the colors. You'll see, you can set it up here where you press the button, it changes the color of this, and then what we're going to do is we'll shrink the frame down just a little bit. Now these are square. That's round. If you want these to be square, see this UI corner, you can duplicate it and drag it in. Probably the easiest way to do it, just like that. And then it makes them nice and round. Pretty neat. Okay. So that's our basic, that's our basic UI. So now inside this, we're going to need a couple of things. We're going to need to insert object. We need an object value. And then we also need a local script. All right. So the object value, we're going to rename that to, let's just say trailer. And the only reason why I'm naming it that is when I designed mine, that's how I named it. So it's just the way from memory, this is how it comes up. So this local script, what is this going to do? Well, this script is going to control the functions of our UI. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to tell it to wait. Always tell it to wait. That'll slow it down. It'll give it a chance to load. All right. Then we need a couple of variables. The first variable is going to be the object value. So we'll say trailer. We could say local, but trailer, trailer equals script dot parent dot trailer dot value. And what we're doing is we're not referencing this, we're referencing the value that it's going to be. Okay, I'll explain in a minute I'll explain that in just a moment. So let's go GUI equals script dot parent dot frame. Frame is this, what we created here, right? It's not the screen GUI, it's the frame within the screen GUI that we are referring to. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to say GUI dot trailer off, which is the button, right? See, it's got our two buttons there, trailer on, trailer off, dot mouse button 1 down. Remember what I was saying when you're doing these? You can have mouse button 1 down, mouse button 1 up, but also we can go mouse button 1 click. Now look at all these. These are all, when it comes to interacting with the UI, these are all the ways you can do it with a mouse. Mouse button 1, up, down, click. Mouse button 2, up, down, click. Right? So we just go mouse button 1, click. Same thing, connect function, which is what we're doing. We're connecting the mouse click to a function. Now, that function is going to be, we're going to say trailer, referring to the object value, and we're going to tell it to fire server. And in here, we are going to give it a value. And that value, we'll say, what is this? Trailer off. Okay? Real simple. Real simple. That's our first button. That's it. Now we can duplicate this. No, let's write it out again. So we'll go GUI dot, we want trailer on. Okay, dot mouse button 1 click, connect function, and then same thing, trailer, right? Fire server, and then what's the variable is going to be trailer on, which is basically what we're doing. We're saying, okay, you're going to fire the server and you're going to fire it with this variable. So what that's going to do is it's going to change the value here to trailer off, or it's going to change the value to trailer on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to connect that through. Okay? So that's basically it. Then if you want the buttons to change colors, this is where you would do it, where you would say in this function, when you click trailer off, you could say script.parent dot button color 3, whatever. Let's do that. Okay. So it's going to fire it, and let's change the color of the button. Why not? I wasn't going to turn this into a one of these, but we'll do a video more in depth about UIs, definitely. So we can go script dot parent dot frame, right? And then we go dot trailer off. Then we go dot background color. Background color 3 is what we want in order to change the color of the background color, right? You can do text, you can change what it says to, you play those tycoon games and they have those buttons, you press on them and they do all kinds of fancy stuff. This is where you design all that. So then we go color 3, all right? And then we'll say from RGB. Makes it really easy. I like it. And then instead of, say, finding the 3 numbers for the color, I just click here. Let's choose a custom color. Let's make it go this color. Okay, perfect. So when you click on it, it'll turn to that color. And then we can copy that, right? And we can do this. And this will turn that color. So we'll just go. That'll probably work. Now what we need to do is we want to return, say, trailer. When we press trailer on, we want to change the trailer off color back to green. So then you just click in here. What is it, that color? Okay. And vice versa, right? There's different ways. It's just really easy peasy. Okay, I think we are done. We're done with that. That's the UI. Now, what we want to do with this is we want to put it somewhere inside the vehicle so we have access to it. So I don't know. I tell you what, let's use this button here. Because we already have this button, because it has a click detector in it, let's drag the screen GUI into there. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to change this script here. Because right now, when we press the button, instead of giving us what it does is it'll disconnect the trailer. What we want it to do is we want it to clone this screen UI into our UI. Okay, so let's go local local button equals script dot parent dot click detector. Then we go button dot mouse click, right? Connect function. All right, and of course, same thing. We want to add a wait. Always want to add a wait. Gives the code a chance to load. See lag or something. Now, oh yes, connect function, and then in here we're gonna the player is going to connect that function, and now a player is a variable within the code. All right, so we say if player dot player GUI. We'll say find first child, and then what do we call this? Screen GUI. Let's rename this. Let's rename this to truck. All right. That way I can find it. It'll say if player GUI find first child truck. So what it's going to do when you load it into the game, it's going to look through that file and it's going to say, okay, does he have it? Then player, let's see, player dot player GUI. Oh, hold on a second here. Oh yes, dot truck. Oops. Dot. And then we're going to destroy it. Like that. DSTROY. Destroy. Okay, so it's going to find the UI. Oh, I see. I have the code here in my hand. I'm just looking at it and going, well, I've referenced a couple of things. Hopefully this works. Okay, and then we're going to say, after that, we're going to say, we're going to do local GUI equals, right, script dot parent dot truck. Parent dot truck. All right. And then what we want to say is we want to say clone it. Right. So we're going to have to change this to GUI. Just like that. Right. Then we're going to say GUI dot parent. So now what we're doing is we're setting the properties. What happens when you clone it? What do you want it to do? Well, when you clone it, we want it to be player GUI, and then we want to say GUI dot trailer dot value. Now we're referencing this, the object value equals, right, script dot parent dot truck dot trailer dot value. Oh, actually, oh, no, no, no. I am doing this absolutely. I'm leading you astray. All right, so what we need to do here is we need to create a remote event. All right, let's insert object, a remote event. All right, we're gonna rename this remote event to trailer functions. All right, and that's what we're referencing here. All right, script parent trailer functions. Basically, what we're doing is we are connecting the variables of this to the remote event. Well, it's giving me an error here for the GUI. Oh, this should be probably player.player GUI, I betcha. Player.player GUI. Yes, there we go. Excellent. Now we're going to test this and see if it works, okay? So what we want to do is we want to click the button, and what that's going to do is it's going to clone the UI that we just made, and there it is. Cool. I mean, we can change the orientation of it throughout the screen, but that's the basics of it. And then what I do is we can add a button in here later on that says destroy. When you click on it, it closes. You know, all that cool stuff, or it hides it, whatever. Okay, so next we need to create the controller, the actual controller, which is going to be full of the variables. So in miscellaneous, we're going to go insert object, script. Let's rename this script to UI controller. It could be anything, it doesn't matter. We're not going to be referencing it specifically. So you can have spaces in it, you can name it whatever you want. All right, so in here, same thing. When we do UIs, we always start with a wait command. Just gives it a chance to load just the way it is. All right, and then we're going to go script dot parent dot trailer functions, which is the remote event. Okay, and then we are going to go on server event connect function, and then in here we're going to have two. We're going to say player, and we're going to say variables. All right, so when the player presses the button, it's going to connect, and when we call a variable, it's also going to connect. And real simple, we go if variable equals, what do we have? Trailer off. Is that right? Yeah, trailer off. Then, okay, and what do you want it to do? Now, there's the end in there. And we'll do this. We'll go else if var is equal to trailer on, then. All right. Perfect. And then what do we want it to do? Right? Well, when we press trailer off, we want the rod constraint to disappear, right? All that code that we have in this, oh, I deleted it. All right. We're going to have to rewrite out everything that we wanted to do. Okay, so when the trailer is off, and we're working from this script here. So we're going to go script dot parent. Now, By doing it this way, we are able to use the UI to interact with the vehicle. This is the way I discovered it. This is the way they do it. Otherwise, it's when you spawn the vehicle in and someone jumps into it and they drive away, it changes the name of the vehicle, and it can be hard to find it if you're doing like find first child, or you're trying to use all these different ways to interact. It has a hard time finding it, and this is the best way to connect it. And that way, this stays with the vehicle. Anybody can jump in the vehicle. Anybody gets the UI. Anybody can interact with it. I think it's the best way to do it. So we'll go script dot parent dot what do we are? Trailer connect. Right? Trailer connect dot rod constraint, which is what we want. Let's say dot visible. We don't even need to do visible. We can just say enabled equals false. And then we can say script dot parent dot trailer connect dot a dot enabled equals false. And we can do the same thing, script dot parent dot trailer connect dot b dot enabled equals false. Then we don't have to do the can I see it, can I not see it. All right, then we're just going to copy this. And we want it to do the opposite, right? We want this to be true. And we want this to be true. And we want this to be true. All right, now let's test it out. Hey, so we click on the button. Brings up our UI. Let's go trailer off. Trailer on. Hey, did you see that it changed the button? Trailer off and trailer on. There you have it. Now, let's recap what we did. We created a screen UI with a couple of buttons. All right. All right, we'll let's just change the drag this over here. Okay. We gave it an object value, and then we created a script which gives us code for the buttons. And you will expand this. When you add more buttons, this is where you will be expanding those buttons. All right? And then it doesn't matter where you put it. We happen to bring it into here. Then we created a script that allows us to clone this UI from the truck to our player by clicking this button. Now, I have in a later episode, we'll show you how to put a script inside the vehicle seat, which is what I have in the other trucks. And so that way, as soon as you sit in the vehicle seat, it automatically clones it to you. That's what they do for the emergency vehicles and that. And then we created a remote event, and we named it. And then we created a controller which handles the variables. And the variables are coming from the buttons that we press on the UI. Sounds complicated. It is a little complicated. It took me a long time to figure it out, but now that I've gone through it, that doesn't seem that complicated. But that's the basics. All right. So in the next episode, we will add lights, and I'll show you how to basically expand the UI to do different things. But that's it. You can essentially modify this into anything you want. You can make the trailer dump. We can put spotlight on here. We could put little round lights on top, and you can say when you press a button, the lights move, right? We can put the strobe lights on here that go, yellow and blue, and they flicker when you press a button. All kinds of stuff. But that's the basics. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something, and we'll see you in the next one.